watch and react to the first trailer for Furiosa.
Whatever you have to do. However long it takes. Promise me that you'll find your way home. Furiosa. Give me this promise.
This looks good. Looks a little like Star Wars. When Star Wars was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Great music. Great looks. I wish this could be rated R.
I'm Furiosa, the darkest of angels.
I'd rather not all the CGI.
Question is, do you have it in you to make it epic?
Okay, one moment. So that was the trailer for Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. And I'd seen that once, and I made sure not to watch it again because I wanted to come into it fresh as possible on my second viewing, and it is just as good as when I first watched it the first time. There are very few, if any, directors that can match Miller's eye, his cinematic eye. I mean, there are people like the director of the first few Transformers films and Zack Snyder, who have a very distinct style. And the director of the first couple of Transformers films, that was Michael Bay. They have a distinct style, but Zack Snyder and Michael Bay, for the majority of their film, not all of them, but for many of their films, it's usually style over substance, where the film looks very good and is very cinematic and has, punchy scenes, but the story is just lackluster, and you leave the film with an empty feeling. I mean, you're not fulfilled. Like, you saw the trailer, you thought it could be a good film, and then you see the film and it's lackluster, or it's just flashy stuff, and you don't care about the characters at all or anything like that. With Miller, there is, with his Mad Max films, with Mel Gibson, so on and so forth, and even with the first Mad Max film, Fury Road, without Mel Gibson, you had a mixture of both. Where his last Mad Max film, it was just a bunch of people chasing one person to one location, and then the same bunch of people chasing them back to where they started again. That was basically the plot of the first of Mad Max Fury Road. That was basically the plot of the film. But that was covered up with stuff happening within the hero's caravan and stuff happening within the enemy's caravan. So you didn't notice what a minimalistic plot there actually was happening. Because you had the stuff happening in the hero's caravan, you had the stuff happening in the enemy's caravan, and then you had all the cinematic elements that Miller put in, like the band playing the music that is playing during the chase scene. Little innovations like that covered up the scant plot. In this film, it looks like that scant plot has gone, and they're putting in a transformation plot instead, where you're watching the transformation of this girl from this village in the green place to Furiosa from the Mad Max Fury Road film. And you see aspects of that at the end of this trailer where she has a robotic hand. See, that's all well and good, but are you going to see what happened to that hand, that arm? That's little things like that where I wish Miller needed to get the money to make this film. So he could not say, okay, I want you to give me the same budget you gave me for the last film, and I want to make it rated R. They're going to be like, no, we're not going to do that. If you want the same money, you're going to have to follow the same formula. And the same formula was that film was PG-13, I believe. So they're going to say, okay, if you want that same amount of money or anywhere near it, you're going to have to make this PG-13 as well. And, Mel Gibson cannot appear in this film as well, because they didn't want him for Fury Road because of all of the stuff that had happened with him. That has nothing to do with his filmmaking or his directing. It was personal stuff. And that still dogged him when Miller finally got everything together to make the last Mad Max film. So they said, you can't have Mel Gibson, you have to choose somebody else. So he chose, I forget his name right now, but he's very good. And they chose him for the role of Mad Max, and he did an adequate job. But because they weren't allowed to use Mel Gibson for the last Mad Max film, they also could not use any of the clips from the previous 3 Mad Max films. That's why at the beginning of the film for Fury Road, where Mad Max is running and he's having all those flashbacks to people that he failed, you don't see any of the clips from Mad Max, from Road Warrior, or from Thunderdome. The reason why you don't see those clips is because those clips feature Mel Gibson playing Max. That's one of the trade-offs they had to make for not having Mel Gibson in that role, was that they could not use clips from when he was starring in that role, and that hurt the film in my view at the beginning. So they had to use a bunch of new footage that fit with the new person playing Mad Max. If Mel Gibson had played that role again, you would have had a connection to those 3 previous films, and you would have had the clips showing the connection to those first 3 previous films. Because they didn't have Mel Gibson, and because they didn't have those clips, They did not have that connection. They just had the name, and they resurrected his vehicle somehow, even though that vehicle got destroyed in the second film, and then was being pulled by camels in the third film. So they sort of resurrected the car in the third film, but you just saw it explode. So it's sort of, you sort of could buy that. Okay, he went back to the blown up vehicle. He turned it over back onto his wheels. Maybe the wheel survived, and then he got some camels, and then they were pulling it. You could go with that. In Fury Road, the car is perfect again, and you're like, where the hell did this car come from? But anyway, since they didn't use that footage from the last three films, and newbies were going in there, they didn't even know. The people that weren't familiar with the first three films, they didn't even know. So anyway, with this film, I like that we have a backstory for one of the main characters from Fury Road. I thought that she was a very good character in the last film, and I'm looking forward to seeing her evolution in this film. I like him, Chris Hemsworth. He's cool. I like the makeup that he has. The makeup that he has on his face. It's funny. They made him look like I don't know, like a pirate or something. I don't know what you'd call it. Right here. And I love that line like where he goes, "Can you make it epic?" And it fits with the music so well, because the music and the scenes that had just preceded him saying this were epic, were galvanizing. And then the person who put this trailer together ended it just on that note, and it makes the trailer so much better, I believe. I like the shots of Furiosa with the red hair, and the actress that they picked to play her. She is phenomenal. I've been following her career since she came onto the scene, and I forget the film, but she played like a genetically engineered, I don't know, soldier in the film, and she had pale skin and blonde hair, and the film was mediocre. It was pretty good. It wasn't great. It was, mediocre. And I've been watching her career ever since. And she was in on Netflix in that chess movie miniseries, I should say, The Queen's Gambit, and she was great in that. I haven't read the book yet, but I probably will. And they picked her for this role because she won a Golden Globe for that, and like her star is an ascension. And when the script came together, she was available, and they offered her the role, and she took it. And now we have Furiosa, and I mean the younger Furiosa. And I am very much looking forward to this film. I prefer the first film, and I should say in this new trilogy, Mad Max Fury Road. I prefer like the black and white version. The black and white version with no audio, where it's just the music and the scenes, is great. If you have not seen that version yet, I suggest that you pick that up. Somebody made a version of that before it came out on before it came out on DVD and Blu-ray. Somebody got a hold of the whole film, put it in black and white, cut all the dialogue out, and it was just the black and white and the music. And he put it online, and it is great. It was great. I don't know if it's still online or not. He put it online for free, and you could just watch it, and it was great. I believe that the director of this film saw that, or or got the idea from that or somebody else. And on the Blu-ray for Mad Max Fury Road is a black and white version. I don't know if it's that black and white version or if it's a black and white version that they decided to make themselves. But on that disc is a black and white version of the film. I don't know if it has the dialogue in it or not, or if it's just the music like in the one that was online, or if it has the dialogue as well. But there is a black and white version that you can buy, and that is on the Blu-ray, and it might be on the DVD as well, but I'm pretty sure it's on the Blu-ray and on the 4K version of Mad Max Fury Road. So if you want to check out the black and white version of that film, you will be impressed because it looks very good, very good. So those are my thoughts on Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, the first trailer for that. What were your thoughts on it?